Hi, and welcome back to the Weather Gurus channel. I'm your host. Thank you for joining me. I want to talk today about a little bit about the grand solar minimum again and the food shortages that we could be experiencing as a result, and also extreme weather that's going to continue throughout 2020. As you know, the 2020 hurricane season, it's already on record-breaking pace. And although a lot of scientists are going to say, oh, this is normal, we've seen it before in the last 200 years and blah, 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 it is not normal, and it will continue to be more unnormal as we head into the winter months. This is an article from last year. This is from the Electroverse. NASA predicts the next solar cycle will be the lowest in 200 years, and the implications, okay? And approaching grand solar minimum is gaining ever more support. Even NASA appears to be on board with the recent SC25 prediction. That's the next solar cycle in 25 years will be the weakest of the last 200 years, okay? The agency results show that the next cycle in 2020 and it will reach its maximum in 2025, which is not too far away from now. And this is the report that they released. Now, here's some of the implications here. There could be a year without a summer. Okay, there was a year without a summer, and the climate back in 1816, the climate was dominating headline news as both spring and then summer failed to arrive. As crops were managed to sprout were frozen in early June, replanted, and frozen again in July. Very few crops were actually harvested, and of those that were, the yields were very poor. In turn, food and grain prices skyrocketed. Okay? And the same story was said across the world. The potato crop in Ireland rotted to the ground as a result of resulting in widespread starvation. In England, France, and Germany, wheat crops failed to leading to bread shortages and food riots and looting. Northern China was hit with thousands of people starving to death, and while in southern Asia, torrential rains tribute a cholera epidemic that killed many more. Now, this is all the result of the grand solar minimum, okay? Now, people are going to tell you that there's no global warming, there's no cooling, but all of that is false. There is. Look at this. Solar researchers tried to warn about another global food shortages, okay? Global food shortages are coming. As a result, it could be as here as soon as 2025 and into going from that point on to 2030. Food has always been an issue, and it will continue to be an issue because of the floods we've had in the Midwest, the fires in California, which I'm going to get into in a minute, and just everything that is going on here. You can see here that this past timeline of this last 200 years, the solar cycle has been getting stronger and stronger, and this year alone, the global wheat crop was reduced between 5 and 8%. Rye is also down by 30%. Rice is down by 5%. But others like corn and soy have had great harvests. Well, not anymore because obviously a lot of the Midwest farmers were affected by the derecho, and that knocked out a lot of the corn and soy harvest, at least in the United States. As we progress between now and 2028, it is not going to be as if on January the 1st, 2028, there will be a certain full scarcity on the planet. It's going to lead up to this. And that's the part. When we're going into leading to that, we're going to have the point of scarcity. And that's not counting the effects of this pandemic that we got going on now. And the food is going to be limited anyway because of the pandemic, which they said most Fortune 500 companies like Google, Apple, and all the big companies, they believe this is going to last through at least 2022, the pandemic. And so food crisis is coming. I encourage you to get as much food as you can, durable dry goods to store, because this is what we're going on right here. And now, also, the upcoming modern grand minimum to occur between 2020 and 2055. It's a unique event in the solar terrestrial connection. Has a big impact on the Earth's temperature. Via SI and the reduction of the magnetic field. There's going to be a shortage of vegetation periods that could lead to possible food shortage in 2028 through 2032 and need intergovernmental efforts to avoid disaster. So this is what we have to look out for. Look at all these stories that came up. We've had 6 months of rain in so many spots of Europe. Record snowfalls in August. Record snowfalls in October. Massive winds. Just this week, ladies and gentlemen, we've had massive snowfalls in places like Denver, Colorado, Cheyenne, Wyoming. This is the earliest snowfall, even for them, in September that we've had. Deadly floods in Yemen. We've had massive rains, floods in China and Japan this year. This is unbelievable things that are going on right now. A matter of fact, the Atlantic multi-deco oscillation is going into its 60-year cooling phase. Notice all the blue cooler than average water that's been pushed into the Arctic sheet here in the North Atlantic Ocean. Just unbelievable things. And this is all because of the grand solar minimum. And look at this. The 2008 wildfires was the deadliest and most destructive wildfire season ever recorded in California. And we still have fires to this date right now. The 2020 season is gonna break records too, because look, more than 2 million acres burned. And now people are gonna say a lot of this is a result of man-made fires because of this gender reveal party. They're gonna say blah blah blah. No, it's not. It's a result of the climate change as well, ladies and gentlemen. So look at this. With 4 months, this is NBCNews.com article. This is just now. With 4 months to go in California for this fire season, a record amount of land has already burned. Okay, this is out in wine country. Look, crop countries, all these crops in the Central Valley, they're going to be infected by this. In the San Joaquin Valley and up in the mountains, fires are everywhere. They're burning in Northern California, in Southern California, in Arizona, in Nevada. It's affecting air quality. It's affecting the ozone layer. I mean, it's just everything is going to be absolutely just destroyed by this. So as we continue to experience everything, the grand solar minimum is here. I encourage you to stock up on as much food and water as you can, because this is going to be the crisis here, the next crisis here, along with the pandemic, a mini ice age to hit Earth in 2020 and could last 30 years, causing extreme winters. This just as an article as of February the 4th this year, okay? The sun is going to experience its lowest activity in over 200 years in 2020, okay? And then Earth will enter a, quote, mini ice age where there will be a food shortage and extremely cold winters. I believe this winter is going to be extremely cold for the Northeast and the East as well. And I believe there's going to be a lot more precipitation, whether it's a mix or just a plain out snowstorm blizzards, And they're going to say this has been the worst snowfall ever. But every year, do you notice every year we're setting so many records as a result? Record heat this year. It's been so hot this year. A record heat. The average temperature, even in Phoenix, Arizona, was 97 degrees. Combining the day, nighttime, and cooling temperatures. That's the highest ever. In Palm Desert, they hit a record. In Death Valley, they hit a record this year. 131 degrees Fahrenheit, ladies and gentlemen. In Iraq, Baghdad, Iraq, they hit a record. 135 degrees Fahrenheit. All of these records as a result of global warming, the result of the grand solar minimum. I don't believe there's going to be an ice age, but I believe there's going to be global warming is continuing, and that's leading to the grand solar minimum, and that's leading to food shortages, wildfires, and all kinds of destructive patterns. Hurricanes will become stronger when they do have a heat situation, and things are going to be absolutely bad. And this thing's cost money. Look how much this costs. $26 billion. This is the costliest on record. 22,000 buildings destroyed as a result of this wildfire season. And we're still in the wildfire season, as you know. And not only the active fires, but we have the hurricane season, which is going to be record-breaking this year. We already know we're going to the Greek alphabet. We have record floods going on. We have just a host of things going on. So things are not normal, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to continue to prepare for this food shortages and also colder winters, but also hotter summers, because that's the balance. That's the balance of our atmosphere that we're in. The climatic changes that are going to be happening. We're not living in normal times. And so because the weather is not going to be normal as well in the next 2 to 5 years. And so get prepared as best you can. I will be doing another video on how we can get prepared even more so, and not be distracted by all the news that's going on, because this is where the real action is going to be when the food crops don't yield in America, and when people realize that, something is not right in the weather patterns, and they can't find it historically on the history data when they go back 100 years, or they go back to, they go back in time to 250 years, and they don't see anything that matches this type of pattern that we're going to see coming up here, then that's when trouble is going to start in the streets. And that's when people are going to realize that the scientists have not been completely honest with them and telling them what's coming to not only the northern hemisphere, but the southern hemisphere, and to this world in general, as patterns, weather patterns, and everything, and climate patterns are going to shift dramatically from what's textbook or what's generally acceptable. Okay, so just something to think about, something to get prepared. Leave your questions in the comments below, and we'll continue this discussion. I'm the Weather Guru. Have a great afternoon.